Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. So, another session with the boot. I'm going to accommodate accordingly. Getting that little bit of extra support under the knee really does help to sit up comfortably. We always spend a few minutes in a seated position before we get moving. Today we're just going to do a great stretch of the whole body, lots of shoulders, lower back, and hip. But let's take a moment and kind of gauge where we are right now. So comfortable position for you, whatever that means. You could even stretch the legs out long. Most importantly, try to stack the head over the heart and then the hips. Maybe you draw that chin back a little bit so we have that great alignment. And then let the shoulders hang down. You can drop your chin slightly, close the eyes, and focus in on your breath. Feel the lungs expand and see if you can let the belly soften and expand as well. Maybe you can play around with where the breath is filling the lungs and think about filling the back as well. That way we're getting the biggest breath we can, drawing all that energy into the body. Keeping that breath going, we'll start with a gentle drop of the chin and then ear to the shoulder. Get a great stretch here, holding for as long as feels good, and then we'll do to center and then to the other side. And we'll roll back and forth, chin to chest, ear to shoulder. And you just play around with what feels best, pausing for as long as feels good. And just rock back and forth a couple more times. And then come to center. And then back to neutral. Inhale, lift the arms up. Reach through the whole body. Hands come down to the heart. Taking a deep breath. And then inhale up. Exhale down. Starting right into those shoulders, eagle arms, basic variation. It's just a giant hug, left arm underneath. Just pull the shoulder blades apart. We also have the option where we could just bring the elbows, forearms, and palms together. Or full variation, left arms underneath. Bend so those fingers go to the sky, back so the arms touch, or bring the palms together. Remember to focus on pressing your shoulders down more than anything. Head is nice and neutral. And just opening up through the shoulder blades. Big stretch. Pull them apart. Press those shoulders down for your last breath. And then unwrap the arms. Reach them out in front and then behind you. Fingertips point back. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Drop the chin towards the chest. One more big breath here. And then release. Roll those shoulders down and back. This time right arm comes underneath. So again, there's that variation. Give yourself a giant hug. Pull them apart. Or you can relax and you can bring the arms together. This is just a great variation. See if you can get those elbows to touch. Or stacking the elbows, bend so that the fingers go to the sky. And then bring the palms together if it feels good. But our goal is opening up through the shoulder blades. Pull them apart. Big stretch here. One more nice deep breath. Lift up and press down a little bit more. And then release. Reach those arms out and behind you one final time. Squeeze the shoulder blades, chin to chest. And then release. Now you can switch your leg position if you want. We're going to do one more shoulder opener. If you have a strap, this is a great thing to use. We take that strap and we just let it fall from behind. We're going to drop it down and we're going to grab with the other hand, or you can try to reach for those fingertips. The goal is to see if you can get those arms closer together. So we're pulling open from the chest here, not doing too much. And then see if you can lift that top elbow more towards the sky and draw that bottom elbow in towards the ribs. This is a big opener for the chest and the shoulders here, and we don't want to push too far, but we also want to open the body a little bit. Take one more breath here, and then we'll switch. So we'll unwrap the arms, pass that strap over to the other side, drop it down behind you so that elbow goes up, and you drop that top arm down. Bottom arm comes underneath, bring the elbow close to the ribs, and then see if you can bend that arm, grab the strap. Take a few breaths. Remember, our breath is our guide. When we feel uncomfortable, we want to really focus in and breathe deep or ease off quite a bit so we're not pushing ourselves so hard. One more deep breath here. And then we'll release. Release that strap down, lift both arms up, find an even stretch through the body, and then just reach through one side. And then back to center and through the other side. Just kind of evening out the body here, back and forth. One more. Back to center. And then relax down. All right, let's stretch out those legs. We've had them maybe crossed for quite a while now. So let's get them shaking out. Take a moment. Maybe you curl the toes and point them, or you give yourself a little massage. You could have the legs straight in line. You could have them wide, whatever feels good. Switch it up. Just get them stretched out here for a moment. All right, so I'm going to turn some on the side of the mat fully. To keep the attention on the lower back, grab your blanket and bring it underneath the knees. This really brings the attention to our lower back. Remember, when we're in these forward folds, hips, knees, and ankles are in alignment is priority number one. Then move the thighs so you can find your sit bones. Now sit up nice and tall. Curl back your toes, so bring the toes towards your chest. That engages the thighs so we can sit up. And we're just going to take one moment here. Now you could lean back if you want and think about opening up the chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades a little bit. Or just see if you can sit up nice and tall. Challenging ourselves, we really have to engage the core here for a moment. And then we're going to inhale and lift up the arms. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to fold forward. Keeping that focus on the lower back. Think about keeping the back straight, not rounded. We've already opened up through the shoulder blades, so now we want to hit that middle and lower back area. Take two more breaths here. See if you can lead with the heart, like there's a light shining forward towards your feet. And then release, coming up. Inhale, come up. Now we're going to do one leg at a time. So bring that left leg in. You see me tuck that blanket underneath for that support. Remember, foot will press into the thigh if you have two good feet, okay? Curl back those toes, solid base. Lift up. Now, two options. If you want more of a side body stretch, you can reach the arm overhead and lean into the forearm. This is going to open up through the side. But if we're focusing on the lower back, we're going to turn our torso. It helps open up our hips and both arms come up. And then we fold forward. Again, it's not about how far you reach. How flat or straight can you make your back? So you're hinging forward, the whole torso in the hip joint. And then your head is just relaxed or in a neutral position. How do the hips feel as you turn your torso towards your right foot? One more deep breath. And then we'll come up on the inhale. And we'll switch. So left leg goes out. Right foot comes into the thigh. Again, there's that option for that side body with the forearm and that top arm overhead. Or we focus in on opening up the hips by turning the torso to straight. Inhale up and then hinge forward. Nice flat back. See if you can really think about folding. That lower back is open and softening, allowing you to lead with that light of your chest forward, pointing towards your left foot. And then inhale, we'll come up. Roll those shoulders back, stretch out the right leg, and maybe bring that blanket back underneath. So again, we're focusing on the lower back, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Inhale, arms up. Even it out. Exhale, fold, hinge from your hips, and then just relax the arms down. Take a few breaths here. Focus in on that alignment. And then inhaling, we'll come up. And let's come on to our hands and knees. So however you want to get there, take a moment. You can always use that extra padding of a blanket to support the knees, or maybe prop them up a little bit higher with the boot. Remember, our goal is when we get here, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Relax the feet here, so get a little bit of a stretch. Spread the palms wide, and we'll just take a moment with some spine work. So we'll inhale, relax the belly, lift the hips, look up slightly. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching or rounding the back. And then release. Inhale, look up, soft belly. Exhale, round. Again, opening up through the shoulder blades and that middle back. Think about tucking your tailbone down and in as you round. And then you can do one more round of that, or take one breath and just tilt your hips side to side. And then come back. Okay, reach those palms out. And if you can, with two good feet, go into child's pose for a few breaths. Or you can find a big stretch by just pushing out of those palms and draw the hips back. You can rest the head on the ground, even with a boot, but we want to avoid that weight on the foot. So upper body's fully relaxed. Our head could be on a blanket or a block. We're just trying to soften through the upper body. The option is always there to take the arms around the side of the legs so the palms are by the sky by your feet. That might help you relax a little bit more. Just want to see if we can open up through the whole spine as our hips shoot back and our lower back starts to open a little bit more. And then we'll draw the hands towards the head and then inhale and push up. Back so that the wrists are under the shoulders and the knees are under the hips. We're going to take the right foot and extend it back. Spread the toes wide so they all hit the mat, and then push your heel into the ground. Great calf stretch here. Really reach out, push out of your palms, and see how much energy you can put into that heel. And then release. Come back to center. And if you've got two good feet, you can do the other side. Or I'm going to repeat the same side, getting a nice stretch through that calf. Spread those toes. Push the heel into the ground as you push out of your palms. Abs are engaged so the back is nice and flat and the head is in just a neutral position looking between the palms. And then release back to center. Okay, coming into thread the needle, we'll warm up the spine a little bit first. Remember, you can always take a blanket and put it where your palms are for a little bit of an extra lift as we thread through. We'll take that right arm up to the sky and just reach up and then relax down. See if you can keep your hips level and look up, open through that chest, and then relax down. Third one, we'll look up, but this time we're going to thread through. So that right hand's going to face the sky and come across the body. You can bend into that left arm. You can come on the forearm slowly, however you want to get there. We're trying to come down onto the right shoulder and the right temple. We can have our left arm extended out, relax down, or wrap it behind your back. Now, as we have the right arm threaded through, we want to push the hips to the right side so that they're sitting level. And we're getting a great stretch around the shoulders here. If this is difficult, remember, tuck that blanket underneath your temple and your shoulder to help lift your body up. We'll take a couple of more breaths here. And then we'll draw the left hand back so we can push up and come back to that neutral position. Child's pose or a modified puppy pose. Taking a moment, find that balance from left to right, relaxing the torso, the arms. And 2 more breaths. Hands come by the head so that we can inhale and come up. And we check our position again, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. This time left palm reaches. So left arm reaches up, just warming up the spine, and then we relax down. And we look up and down. Last one, go up, threading through, left palm to the sky, coming down onto the arm. Remember, the goal is to come onto the temple and the side of the shoulder. You can reach that right arm out for support. You could relax it down. You could wrap it around the back, reaching for the left thigh. But push your hips towards that left side, helping to get that great stretch through the body. And then focus in on your breath. Couple more breaths here. And then right hand comes back towards the head. Push up gently. Reach the arms out. And then child's pose or just pushing back. Nice big stretch. And then maybe relaxing the head down. All right, arms come back towards the head, push up on the inhale. We'll slowly turn and sit on the exhale. All right, let's take a moment. We'll come into a seated position with those feet together. So a butterfly stretch here. Let's take a moment. How far your heels are from your hips is up to you. With the boot, gonna grab those blocks for that little bit of extra support underneath. Remember, we always want to modify using these props to our advantage. The goal right now is to just sit up nice and tall. Can you lift through the crown of your head? You can think about pressing your knees down or just focus on lifting. You can even bring your hands to the side here if this helps you lift through the crown of the head. If you have the flexibility and you want to fold forward that little bit, feel free. Let's just open our hips the other direction. And then release. Draw them up, and we're going to come and lay on our mats, but we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to shift forward, and we're going to come and lay on our backs. We're going to have our knees up for a second so that we can lift our hips, and then let our lower back go nice and flat. And then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do that butterfly stretch, maybe tucking a blanket or blocks underneath your knees. And we're just going to feel the difference from the seated variation to lying down. And we're going to take this moment to fully relax every inch of our body. Hands are in whatever position is comfortable. Resting the eyes. Notice your breath. Try to breathe down through the belly and let it really rise and expand. And then just naturally falls towards the spine as we exhale. Take 2 more deep breaths. Really dig deep, breathing all the way down through the hips. And now take 2 more. Really pushing through, knowing that gravity is helping to open up the hips here. It's relaxing the lower back and the shoulders. In a yin yoga class, we would hold poses for minutes, getting comfortable with the sensations in our bodies, allowing our hips to soften and open even more. So I want to encourage you right now to take 2 more breaths before we move on. Try to release any tension you might feel. Relax through the face and the jaw. Let the hips soften just a little bit more for your last breath. And then we'll take our hands to the outsides of our thighs so we can push those legs back together and up. And then we'll bring the knees in towards the chest. Really open up through that lower back. Hug them in nice and tight. And either rock side to side or circle. Whatever feels good on your lower back. And now from here, we're going to separate those knees and pull the arms apart. So we're doing the same variation. It's kind of like a frog pose. So pull the knees open to each side. You can tuck the elbows in towards the thighs and let the feet just be relaxed. It's an in-between from the happy baby pose to a frog variation on the mat. So we're letting gravity again do the work, but we're using both hands to pull the knees up towards the chest and letting gravity assist in opening them towards the earth. And then we'll release, bring them back to center together, Pull the knees in towards the chest. And then let the feet hit the floor. We're going to lift the hips and move them away from the screen so that we can bring the knees up and then roll towards the screen. Fully come onto your side. Hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Avoiding that weight with the boot. Bottom arm stretches. Top arm goes to meet it. We're on the side of our temple. Open the arm up overhead. Roll onto the back of the head and let that arm open towards the earth. Keep those hips, knees, and ankles stacked and then come back. So we're trying to have a nice straight spine here. And we're just using this open and closing of the arm as we roll onto the back of our head to get a nice spine twist here. Opening up through the chest. And we're just flowing at our own pace. Back and forth. Let's do one more big open. Really take a second, feel that opening through the chest, and then come back to center and close the arms. And we'll relax back. And then we'll do the other side. So we'll lift those hips, move them towards the screen, and then roll away. Extend that top arm out. And then take those hands together, knees, ankles, and hips are stacked, and open the top arm. Looking up, let it hang open, and then close. Try to keep your spine nice and straight, opening through that chest area as we roll onto the back of the head, and then rolling to the temple as we close the arms. We'll do one more. Big open through the chest and shoulders. Take one breath and then close the arms. Relax. Come back to center. Realign everything. Lower back nice and flat on the mat. Knees to chest hugging in nice and tight. And then let the feet hit the floor. We're going to lift the legs towards the sky. Two options. The first one is just arms down the side of the body so that the hands are by the hips. And we press into the palms and shoulders with our chin lifted to the sky. The other option is lifting the hips a little bit so you can place the hands underneath them to get that lower back on the mat. And then everyone does knees to chest and then toes to sky. When we bring our hands underneath our hips, it allows our core to be a little bit more relaxed. It's completely up to you. You just want to get those legs up for a moment. Reverse that blood flow. Take a few deep breaths. If you want to stretch, you could push those heels towards the sky and draw your toes down towards the earth. Or just keep it relaxed. Few more breaths. Just enjoying the moment. Sending all that energy back towards the heart. And then we'll release. Bending, release the hands, knees to chest again. And then let the feet hit the floor. Stretch both legs out first. Find a level position. So your whole spine is nice and straight. The hips are level. Shoulders are relaxed into the mat. That chin is going to be slightly lifted towards the sky. And then we're going to bring the right knee up towards the chest. Both hands, pull it in tight. Make sure to relax your right foot. Super important. We don't want any tension in our body, but we're using both hands to pull that knee up towards the chest. Keeping the hips level and taking a few breaths here. See if you can relax every part of your body except for the arms that are just pulling on that leg slightly. And then we'll drop the left hand, and only using that right hand wrapped around the knee, we're going to pull up and open to the right side. We tuck the elbow in. Relax that right foot. Now there's one more option here if you have the flexibility. You could do a half a happy baby. So the right elbow goes inside the knee and the hand goes to the outside of the foot, and then you pull down. Totally an option, but not necessary. Just pulling that knee up towards the chest and then tucking that elbow in and letting everything relax on the right side as it falls towards the earth will really help. You can also bring your left hand to the left hip, press it into the mat. Feel like your hips are both connected still. That's going to help with the hip opening. Next, we're going to come back to center, knee to chest with both arms. Pull it in tight. And then we're going to go across the body about 45 degrees. So left hand only, pull up and then across 45 degrees. Not yet a twist. So push your right hip into the mat. See if you can find a stretch through the hip area. Play around. Maybe come back to center, lift some more, and then go across. Remember, both feet are relaxed. So no tension here, just relax the body. And then come back to center. Knee to chest, really hug it in tight for 2 breaths, pulling up as high as you can. And then release. Stretch out that leg nice and long. Make sure your body's even from side to side. Back is as close to the mat as possible, and then left leg comes up. Both hands pull that knee in towards the chest. Hug it in nice and tight. Try to keep the hips level. Try to relax both feet. Remember, the goal is every part of your body is relaxed, and we're just using those arms to pull the knee towards the chest, really pulling up high. All right, this time left hand only. Pull up, tuck the elbow into the thigh, and then open to the left side. That option is there if you wanted to do a half a happy baby, bringing the left elbow inside of the knee and the hand to the outside of the foot. Right hand maybe to the right hip, keeping it on the mat and checking in. Are both feet relaxed? No tension in the body, just pulling up on that hip as gravity pulls down on the leg. And then back to center. Everyone pulls the knee in with both hands towards the chest, finding that level position. Left hand releases, right hand only pulls up and then across the body, 45 degrees. Again, hips shooting down. Keep that left hip as close to the mat as possible as you pull up and then across. Sometimes you have to play around with that position of pulling up a little bit more and then across to find that great stretch around the outside of the hip. And then release. Back to center. Knee to chest, hug it in tight, get a great stretch. And then release. Stretch out that leg, reach the arms overhead. Find a stretch through the front of the body, maybe pointing the toes. And then release. We're going to come into those figure fours. So lifting both knees up, feet hit the ground. Left ankle comes to the right knee. Our goal is to press the knee towards the front of the mat, and we can keep our right foot pressing into the mat for stability, or we could lift the foot up off the ground and bring our hands or strap behind the knee. So we pull the knee towards the chest, but we press the left knee towards the front of the mat. Now it's up to you, shin parallel or relaxed, or bring that leg overhead, nice straight line. Choose the variation that works best for you. Check in, head, neck, and shoulders nice and relaxed. All right, if that leg is straight, bend the leg. Everyone has then releases and has the right foot on the ground. Left leg extends and then lowers down. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You'll notice with the boot, I'm going to move quickly, getting that foot up off the ground. So right ankle to left knee, press it towards the earth, and then lift that leg if you'd like. So again, the goal is if the left leg is off the ground, you're pulling towards the chest, but the right knee is still pressing towards the front of your mat. And that option again is there to straighten the leg. Completely up to you. Take a few more breaths. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. And then if the left leg is up high, we'll bend it, let it hit the ground, release that right leg, and then stretch out both legs again. Reach through the whole body. Reach the arms overhead. Find a big stretch, fingers to toes. And then release. Knees back up to the sky. Arms out to the side like a T or a cross, or bend the elbows so the palms go to the sky, arms about 90 degrees. Lift the hips, move them to one side, knees to chest, and let's get that great twist in. Cross the body. Let the opposite shoulder peel up off the mat. You can turn and look the opposite direction of the legs if it feels good. But just taking a couple more breaths. Try to stack hips, knees, and ankles. Last breath here. And then we'll release. We'll come back to center. Realign your position, knees in towards the chest. Release that lower back. And then feet to the floor. Other side, arms go out, lift the hips, move them across. Knees up and then over. Again, let that shoulder relax. Look the opposite direction if it feels good. Deep belly breaths. Check in, hips, knees, and ankles stacked. One more nice deep breath here. And then release. Come back to center. Lift the hips, knees to chest again. Hug them in tight. Really squeeze in. And then release. Stretch out the legs nice and long. Take a moment with your spine nice and flat on the mat. Have your feet at least hips or shoulders distance, if not a little bit wider. And let the feet dangle open to the side. Bring your hands on your belly or the palms to the sky and just take a few breaths. Notice any difference you feel in your body. Do your shoulders feel more relaxed? Do your hips feel more open? Does your breath feel smooth, even, and continuous to carry you through the day, drawing that good energy into our belly and our dantian, the energy center of our body? Do we feel more at ease, more relaxed? Take a few more breaths. See if you can soften the space between your eyes. See if you can relax the jaw a little bit. Let your shoulders fall even closer to the mat. Chest is open. Belly is full. And then start wiggling the fingers and the toes. And roll the wrists and the ankles. And then bring your feet together and the arms overhead. Big stretch. Reach from your fingers to your toes. And then relax. Lift one knee and then the other. So we can lift our hips and roll to one side. And then whenever you're ready, push with that top arm into a seated position, whatever that means. Maybe you sit in the same position we started, really taking note of any changes you feel in your body. Take a couple of deep breaths, letting those shoulders hang down, chin drops. Feeling great, ready for the day. We'll do a big inhale, arms come up. Exhaling, hands down to the heart. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Namaste.